In August 2025, Manila's monsoon air was thick with tension. The city, already bracing against the relentless downpour, felt a different kind of storm brewing, one that would soon sweep far beyond its rain-soaked streets. It was a month that would change history, not just for the Philippines, but for the entire region. Newsrooms buzzed with urgency as the world's attention zeroed in on the South China Sea. News alerts blared across every screen. Over 100 Chinese maritime militia vessels surged toward Ayungin Shoal, deep within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. The scale and speed of the incursion stunned even seasoned analysts. This wasn't the usual harassment or shadow games at sea. It was a full-force attempt to seize the shoal, a brazen move that threatened to upend the fragile balance in the region. The world watched in suspense as Chinese ships encircled a handful of Philippine Coast Guard vessels, their hulls gleaming under the stormy sky, outnumbered but unyielding. But this time, the Filipinos didn't back down. The Coast Guard crew, faces set with determination, stood their ground, ready for whatever would come next. Their commanders issued clear, unwavering warnings in both English and Mandarin, broadcast for all to hear. Cross this line, and we will respond. The message was unmistakable. There would be consequences. As the Chinese ships pressed forward, the BRP Gabriela Silang fired warning shots, real naval gunfire, echoing across the waves. This was no mere show of force with water cannons. It was a declaration that the Philippines would defend its territory. Then, shore-based anti-ship missiles launched from the coastline, their fiery trails lighting up the horizon in a dramatic show of resolve. The world watched, breath held, as the stakes soared higher. The Chinese fleet, stunned by the unexpected resistance, broke formation and withdrew. The retreat was swift, leaving a sense of disbelief in its wake. The world was shocked. The Philippines had forced a superpower's proxy fleet to retreat. Headlines flashed across continents. Analysts scrambled to make sense of the new reality. This was more than a skirmish. It was a turning point. The Philippines had shown it was no longer a passive player, but a force to be reckoned with. In that moment, a new chapter in the South China Sea was written, and the world would never look at the region the same way again. The events of August 2025 weren't just a stroke of luck, far from it. They were the culmination of years of painstaking transformation, both visible and invisible, as the Philippines quietly but steadily reshaped its destiny. For far too long, China's slow, calculated encroachment in the South China Sea met little resistance, as the world watched with growing unease. But then, a new generation of Filipino leaders emerged, bold, unafraid, and determined to chart a different course. They decided that enough was enough, and that the time for passive acceptance was over. These leaders didn't try to match China ship for ship or dollar for dollar. Instead, they focused on building credible deterrence, crafting a defense that was smart, agile, and uniquely Filipino. Their strategy was simple, but effective. Make any act of aggression costly, unpredictable, and fraught with risk for the aggressor. Every move was calculated to keep the enemy guessing. The world's reaction was immediate and dramatic. Global markets trembled, investors grew anxious, and analysts scrambled to make sense of the new reality. For the first time in years, China's aura of inevitability cracked, revealing uncertainty beneath the surface. The Philippines had shown that even a smaller nation, if determined and united, could repel gray zone aggression, those shadowy tactics that stop short of open war, without sparking a catastrophic conflict. This was more than a military maneuver. It was a psychological victory. The sight of a small nation standing tall inspired other Southeast Asian countries to reconsider their own strategies and resist intimidation. The Philippines' new doctrine, an asymmetric defense strategy, leveraged its unique geography, strengthened alliances with partners like the US and Japan, and drew on the deep well of national resolve. The Ayungin Shoal standoff was the first real test of this doctrine, and it worked. The world watched as the Philippines held its ground. Suddenly, the Philippines was no longer seen as a helpless victim, but as a vanguard for international law and the rights of smaller nations. The G7, the European Union, and ASEAN rallied in support, issuing strong condemnations of China's actions and calling for respect for international norms. The incident became a rallying cry for a rules-based order, uniting countries across continents in defense of shared principles. The Philippines had found its courage, and in doing so, it inspired countless others to stand up for their own sovereignty and future. The world saw not just a nation transformed, but a new symbol of hope and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. At the heart of this sweeping transformation in Philippine defense is the Porcupine Strategy, a bold new approach that's reshaping the country's military posture for the 21st century. The core idea is simple yet powerful. Make the Philippines too painful and costly for any adversary to attack, deterring aggression before it even begins. To achieve this, the armed forces of the Philippines has shifted its focus from internal security threats to robust external defense, launching a comprehensive modernization program that upgrades everything from weapons to communications. The ultimate goal is clear: impose such high and immediate costs on any potential invader that the price of aggression becomes unacceptable from the very first hour of conflict. The first layer of defense features modern Coast Guard patrols, advanced surveillance aircraft, and coastal radar installations, all working together to keep constant watch over the West Philippine Sea and spot threats early. The second layer brings in mobile, shore-based anti-ship missiles like the BrahMos, transforming the archipelago into a formidable missile gauntlet that can strike back at hostile ships from multiple locations. New fighter jets and missile-armed frigates further strengthen air and sea denial, ensuring that Philippine forces can contest the skies and seas against any intruder. All these assets are designed to work in concert, not to defeat a major power like China outright, but to create a layered, multi-domain defense that's extremely difficult to dismantle or bypass. At the center of it all is a high-tech command center, fusing real-time data from satellites, drones, and ground sensors, giving commanders a comprehensive operational picture and enabling rapid, informed decisions. The entire network is cyber-hardened and fully interoperable with key allies, especially the United States, allowing for seamless coordination and joint operations in times of crisis. Ultimately, the Porcupine Strategy is about building a smart, integrated, and resilient defense, one that leverages technology, alliances, and determination to safeguard the nation's sovereignty for generations to come. The Philippines' true strength is its people's spirit. Years of encroachment forged unity, not defeat. Patriotism and national identity now drive a whole-of-nation defense. Students learn the arbitral ruling as a point of pride. Social media warriors counter disinformation. Fishermen become sentinels. Bayanihan, communal unity, has become a national security strategy. Civilian agencies, tech firms, and communities all contribute. This unity fuels economic confidence, attracting investment and creating a virtuous cycle of security and prosperity. A revitalized U.S.-Philippines alliance is a cornerstone of Manila's new strength. The Mutual Defense Treaty is now a living, dynamic partnership. Joint exercises have evolved into complex war games, building deep trust and interoperability. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement gives U.S. forces rotational access to key bases. No permanent bases, but rapid response capability. Any attack on the Philippines now means a swift U.S. response. This security shield boosts investor confidence and economic growth. The U.S. is also a partner in economic modernization, cybersecurity, infrastructure, and energy. The alliance is now about both defense and prosperity. Together, they deter threats and build a stable future. The Philippines' geography, once a vulnerability, is now its greatest strength. The archipelago forms a natural barrier, now fortified by technology. Advanced radar, drones, and satellite imagery create a seamless maritime awareness network. Every vessel in the EEZ is tracked in real time. There are no blind spots. Mobile BrahMos missiles and artillery turn the islands into unsinkable fortresses. Special forces and anti-aircraft batteries reinforce key choke points. An amphibious invasion would face a multi-layered mobile defense, costly and unpredictable. The calculus is clear. Attacking the Philippines is a nightmare scenario. Deterrence is achieved by making the cost of aggression unacceptably high. The Philippines is now too tough a nut to crack. The Philippines is not alone. Its stand has catalyzed a coalition of democracies: Japan, Australia, the US, and key European and regional partners. Japan provides patrol vessels and defense tech. Australia shares naval expertise. These partnerships complicate any aggressor's plans and amplify collective resolve. Economic ties with these democracies insulate the Philippines from coercion and fuel growth. Diplomatically, joint statements and protests isolate aggressors and raise the cost of bullying. The Philippines' security and prosperity are now backed by a global chorus. The Philippines' most potent weapon is the 2016 Hague ruling. Once symbolic, it's now a tool of statecraft and information warfare. Relentless campaigns educate citizens and the world. The Philippines stands on international law. Radical transparency, publishing evidence of illegal actions, preempts disinformation. Diplomats and journalists frame the dispute as a legal issue, not just a power struggle. This narrative shift has galvanized global support and put China on the defensive. In the 21st century, the battle for legitimacy is as crucial as any battle at sea. The Philippines is redefining power and victory for the 21st century. Strength now means economic vitality, innovation, alliances, and national will, not just military might. Security and prosperity go hand in hand. The Philippines is one of Asia's fastest-growing economies. Democratic values and a rules-based order are the foundation of this success. The Philippines offers a compelling alternative to authoritarian models: freedom and growth, not fear and control. Its transformation inspires neighbors and reshapes the region. From weak link to anchor of stability, the Philippines is now a principal architect of Asia's future. An Asian powerhouse has been born.